First off, when we talk about the game, a couple things we closed our locker room with today. Indiana lost, I'm sure a lot of you know by now, but Indiana lost somebody that's been a part of Indiana basketball and that scores table for a long, long time, and Bill Boer. And I tried to explain to our team, it's one of those life moments that this game is so great, okay? And the game of basketball is so great, but a win like tonight is so phenomenal. And you have to you don't embrace it, but you enjoy it. And the people that you embrace are your family, because it's so fleeting. Bill Boer he missed the North Dakota State game, and we knew he was gone, and we knew he'd been fighting the cancer. And then he was back for the Sam Houston State game. And I said, man, we missed you. And he said, yeah. He said, this is where I need to be. And then he wasn't here for the Ball State game. And J.D. Hetty, who's relation to him, said that it had really gotten worse. And we were making plans this morning, J.D. and I were, to honor him as an honorary captain, either before the next game or the game after. And he never got to tonight. And so, think about that. When somebody, doesn't matter if he's never scored a basket at Indiana, he's a part of Indiana. And we feel for him. And our prayers and concerns are with his family. And we could tell he was sick, but that man kept coming. I mean, that's, I'm not trying to be sappy, but that's Indiana's spirit. I mean, it really is. And he's going to be missed. And he really is. And I hope our players just continue to understand. I hope everybody just embrace those people that mean so much in your life, because it can move so fast. And we said goodbye to Chris Reynolds tonight. Chris has been a fixture at Indiana for a long time. I knew him from Michigan State when I was at Michigan State, and he was at Michigan State. He has been in the foxhole with us since the first day we got here. And it was not easy. And we're going to miss him. And that's why we honored him tonight. And wonderful, wonderful man with a wonderful family who's moving on to Northwestern to be their deputy AD. So we want to take a great moment and at the same time realize how fortunate we are. And our guys played great basketball tonight. We played against an incredible opponent. Everybody understands how great North Carolina is, and our guys had an edge to them tonight. And it was on the defensive side of the ball as much as anything else. We got a lot of great basketball from a lot of people. I'm looking at the numbers. Cody had 14 deflections. Phenomenal game from a lot of people. Don Fisher said that I think we had one turnover from the 2.5-minute mark to maybe somewhere late in the game where we only had one turnover against Carolina, and certainly haven't slept very much the last couple nights thinking about their pressure. So really proud of the way our entire team played. We got great lifts. We just kept coming, and we knew that we were playing against a great team, a team that the kind of team you've got to be able to look at and say you can see a team like that down the road. And I hope we both do. I hope we both see each other down the road somewhere, because they've got an incredible program. And I'll just close before I open it up to questions that our fans were as incredible as they've been. And Andy Katz asked at halftime, is this like the Kentucky atmosphere? I said, well, we're halfway there. And he asked, what makes it that way, or something like that? And I said, this is the best atmosphere in college basketball. And I can be biased all I want, but it's hard to argue it. And this is the best atmosphere in college basketball because of the passion of our fans. Young, old, it doesn't make a difference. It is phenomenal. So, great victory all the way around. We want to keep improving, there's no doubt, but it's a fun night.
Ken, was that the most complete game that you've seen your team play since you got here?
Against that type of opponent, absolutely. I thought we played a pretty complete game on Sunday. But and I didn't realize even until tonight that we'd had 15 straight buckets in the Ball State game, just like I didn't realize the numbers with the turnovers. I knew that Yogi and Jordan only had one turnover in 32 and 23 minutes respectively, which is pretty incredible against that team. So the moment I say that it's the most complete game, I let my guard down as a coach, and I want to be able to be on them the way that we need to be to keep improving. So I'll defer comment, to somewhere down the road on that.
Mark,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mike, go ahead.
Tom, the last the first 4 minutes or so of the second half, what did you do better there to go from really good to great?
I think the energy, the matchup on McAdoo was huge, because we told our team that they live for that break, but the heart of their team is the post-up. And we needed to do a better job on the post-up. And we let them get a little comfortable. in the first half. We let McAdoo make some turnarounds. He's a tremendous player. He's as good of a transition rebounder and offensive rebounder that we faced. We felt like that on film, and I think the fact that he had 0 offensive rebounds at halftime was a victory in itself. But I think just the fact that Will Sheehy did a phenomenal job on him. We gave up a couple boards, but Will was fighting him. Will was making it hard for him to make catches, and we knew that they were going to need to go to him to get it going. And I think everybody just turned up. We challenged the team to start off with 3 stops in a row. We didn't, but we ended up with 3 stops in a row 7 times in the game, and we rarely ever lose if we get 3 stops in a row 7 times in a game, and that helped us.
You started Will in the second half, right? What was it that led you to do that?
Just his energy defensively. We just, I liked how he'd finished the half on him. And it wasn't anything, it wasn't a negative towards Christian at all. It was a positive of Will. I've said all along, and I have no trouble with this. I think we have 7 starters. I really do. And I think when Hunter Perea gets some time, certainly it's a drawback now because he hasn't had a chance. But I mean, we projected that he would probably be one of those guys that you could look at that way too. So we'll see how that happens down the road. But I look at Will as a starter. I don't look at those guys as bench guys. Go ahead, Mark.
Is there any additional significance of this game to beat a team like North Carolina with its history by this margin when thinking about the struggles this program has had?
I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that much. I mean, you get so caught up in the moment. Our team just keeps getting better, and I think the key is that we don't get away from that. There's got to be a humbleness. There's got to be a confidence, but at the same time, you've got to keep building your edge constantly, daily, and we can't get away from that. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking that way, and I don't think we will.
Justin?
You were able to break on them on made baskets a bunch of times, just with Cody and Vic out running people. Basically, where did you how did you see that develop? I guess was that something you kind of knew was going to be
That's
there?
just what we do. That I mean, we keep the stopwatch on when we're working against the other team. And it's a scout team, but when we're working on, started doing this year, where when we work on the other team, on a defensive rebound, on a turnover, we're running, and we've got to manage it with a stopwatch, and we're timing it. We're seeing how quick we can get down the court. The made basket thing, that's the best we've done with the made baskets. But we got the ball out of bounds quick. The whole key to your break is not the outlet, where the outlet is caught. It's not the wings. Obviously, Cody is incredibly special around the floor. It's how quick that ball gets out of bounds, how quick the inbounder gets it inbound. How quick he gets it out and gets it up. And we did a really good job with that tonight. And our guys are very confident in their running game. And the key against North Carolina is, everybody thinks it's going to be a fast-paced game. Well, if you let them control and dictate the pace of the game, they're hard to beat. We had to control the pace of the game. And that meant that we needed to run to make sure we could get as many easy baskets, because they're going to get some layups. They're going to get some close shots, and we needed to win that part of the game. And I think we did. I'm not sure the number, but I think we did.
I know it's not hard for you, but how important is it for you to continue to coach, and specifically with Austin Etherington, even with the big lead, to make sure that you get on him and continue
I have no
to
trouble
push
with
him?
that. Yeah, I mean, we're trying for the. I love those guys, but I mean, the ball's got to go to the guard. You don't dribble a loose ball. I mean, Austin, I've said this before. First 3 years, he'd have been a starter, might have been one of our leading scorers. And he's a good player. He's a very good player. I want him to go in and play well. And in the 4-minute timeout, we really wanted to clamp down and play well. And that's a mental game. That's hard because they're still playing and they're still trying to come back into the game. And that's really important that we don't make those mistakes. So same thing the other night with Will. I love those guys, but I mean, I have no trouble coaching the game till it's over.
Andy?
Rick Edward, right?
Yeah, Andy then Rick.
Jordan's always been a good shooter. Tonight, you look at his line, he had 8 assists, 7 rebounds, no turnovers. How has he improved the most this year?
Well, the big thing for us, we kept yelling to our guys in the last couple of days of practice, is guard rebounds are going to equal layups. I mean, if we get guard rebounds, which you have to get against Carolina, because they were averaging 18 offensive rebounds coming into the game. And that's with the one game of having 10, I believe it was, against Butler. I mean, so they are a phenomenal rebounding team. They're either getting 46 or 47 a game. They led the country in rebound margin last year. It's just phenomenal what they do rebounding the ball. So we've got to get guard rebounds, and he's very good at that. He really wanted the ball. He wanted the ball on the ball screen tonight. He was very demonstrative of really reading the game and telling me, hey, we can get this, we can get that. I love when he's like that. Yeah, I love it. And we've got a lot of different guys that can handle the ball, and when our break is flying and we're getting those side ball screens, that's really good. But Jordan really felt he had great confidence in the game, and he. If you look at his turnover ratios, of Jordan and Yogi, we shouldn't be surprised on the way it was tonight, even though I think that's pretty phenomenal that there's only one turnover against Carolina with the two guards.
Andy?
I was going to say the same thing about turnover ratio between those two players. They also provide the 12 boards. And there was one sequence there in the first half when it was still close. Jordy got the rebound, outlet pass dunk. Then on the next trick down, he stole the ball on the baseline, outlet pass dunk. I mean, that was, you talk about being able to run. And
Yeah.
He was very critical there.
Well, no question, and again, we're trying to make sure, we want to be better defensively all the time. And the way we try to establish that, it's not just, okay, let's play great defense, no, let's go get more shots. I mean, we had 74 shots. Last year we averaged 53 and a half. You're not going to win like you need to win on 53 and a half shots a game. You look back at Carolina's numbers, Duke's numbers, Kentucky's numbers. Those guys get a lot of shots. Well, they get it because they defend well. And we want to be able to get easy baskets, and the better that we can defend, get stops, and get up the court and run, the better for us, and those guys buy into that. You know, we said at halftime, the only thing that's going to slow us down is if we stop moving the ball this way. And the ball, I don't want to use the term shared because that's too simple. It's just got to keep moving. Cody showed a skill level. There's a lot of things that I'm not sure Cody has peers in the country at certain things. Passing, on the move, out of the high post, out of the low post, reading the game, having an internal clock in his head to find cutters. If there's somebody else out there, maybe there'll be a high school player we could recruit someday that would be like that, because he is phenomenal at finding people. I think sometimes people get caught up in Cody's numbers and what they are, what they aren't, and they lose sight of the focus that he has on making everybody around him better. You look at the layups he found people tonight, and that's an unselfish, smart, cerebral player.
Justin?
Coach, Will in here talked about how Victor had that edge and that energy from the beginning, and the other guys kind of fed off of that. Just if you could talk about Vic's complete game tonight.
Well, he had a great game. He had a great game. I mean, he attacked, he moved without the basketball. We've really gotten better since the Sam Houston game, I think it was, where we really got our movement. You know, it's one thing to move without the ball and have body movement. It's another thing to cut to score. And so many times it's like a screen. You set a screen, okay, just to say, well, yeah, I got a body on him, but yet the person really doesn't get open because they didn't have to fight through it. Then there's the must screen. Well, it's like cutting without the basketball. If you just cut to cut, well, you might not get the ball. You're just moving people. But when you cut to score and you're driving your hand and you're alert